Hey, welcome to the Caffeinated Mammal Compilation Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Fox. This episode, we caught up with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in about 10 years or so, Jamie McDonald, from the band Oh Hooray. The episode runs a little bit longer than normal, but the conversation got so deep and beautiful, I didn't want to miss any of that. And then at the end of it, we have an incredible performance of his song, The Wasteland. All right, so we are in the studio with Jamie McDonald from a band called Oh Hooray, but when I knew him, he was in a band called Like Handshakes a million years ago. So, you live in Texas?
Hell yeah, I'm in Houston.
Right on.
Yeah.
But you grew up here in North Carolina?
I did. I'm kind of like from all over because like I started in California. I'm gonna say that one more time because I hit the mic. I started in California, born in Mission Viejo. I lived there for 5 years. My dad was building race cars, and we moved from California to North Carolina so he could build NASCAR race cars. So that's why we're here.
That this is the place for that.
It is. It definitely is. So we were like a NASCAR family.
capital USA.
Yes, very much so. And we were raised in North Carolina, even though like I was old enough to not get the accent. Or as far as I believe.
No, you definitely don't.
Oh, thank God. I mean, do you have a lot of accent people in the audience?
Oh, I don't think we have an audience. But
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so
in that case.
for me, I lived in like small town, smaller than Hickory where we are now. But like a very small neighboring town. And then we moved to like a bigger city when I was like middle school.
Yeah.
And I got made fun of a lot for my country accent.
So you rid yourself.
I had it. I rid myself of it on purpose.
That's hard.
Yeah.
And
I was
sad.
young enough. I was young and like in very formidable times that it was okay because I was like middle school and I you know.
Yeah.
But I often have gotten people like, you're not from here. I'm like, I sure fucking am.
Yeah. Well,
Hell yeah, I am.
For me, like it's so weird. Like when I moved to like Texas, I mean, being from North Carolina is kind of a badge of honor because like you can go there and say like I understand like Southern shit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I fit in, but I am a little. I don't say like a nomad, but I definitely have been kind of traveling in like a 4-year cycle. Mm-hmm. So like when I was 5, I moved to North Carolina, and then is that the?
It's the GoPro just turning itself off.
When I was 5, I moved from California, and then, from North Carolina, I went to Western Carolina University, and then I moved to Georgia. I taught there for 4 or 5 years, and then I moved to Texas, and that's where I am currently. I always joke that, like, I'm going to finish my lap. I'll probably end up in California next.
Gotta just keep going across.
Yeah.
So you lived the majority of your life here.
I did.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how old were you when we met? Because I feel like you were really young.
I think I was 18.
18?
I think I was, no, it might have been sooner. I started songwriting when I was like 13.
I definitely didn't know you when you were 13.
No, definitely not. And they were shit. They were all like Bob Dylan ripoffs. Because I was obsessed with Bob Dylan. I used to write my songs and hide them in a Bob Dylan Guitar World magazine. I would put all the songs in this Guitar World magazine and jot them down. They all were basically Bob Dylan tunes.
Sure.
But with my words. And eventually I started writing my own stuff. And once I did that, I recorded like a really shitty thing on Audacity called something I can't remember. Songs with, I don't know. Songs after the before or some shit like that.
Super clever.
Very. And so I put that out to my dad. He loved it. It was a bestseller in his car. And then I started getting some people to play with me. And I was like, hey, I have songs. Will you play with me? And it was this guy, Riley. And then Riley knew a guy named Robs from like church or like from something. And I was like, well, what does he do? And he said he plays bass. So we were like, we need a bass player. And so we got Robs into the band. And it was a 3-piece. And we called ourselves Like Handshakes. Funny story. Before it was Like Handshakes, it was actually called Toothpicks. And it was because there was a song I wrote called Toothpicks. We played at a festival. It was our first gig. It was someone that like Riley's mom knew.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, and they put on like a tiny little rinky-dink festival in like Morganton. Played it, and we knew our name was not going to be Toothpicks when the announcer came up, and they were like, "All right, everybody, you never know. This band is brand new, but this might be the next Bruce Springsteen. Everybody, welcome the Toothpicks." And that introduction was so lame that I was like,
"We can't be that band."
I was like, dude, we have to change our name. As soon as it was said, and then somehow Like Handshake seemed better. But yeah, we played I think we formed when I was 16, and we basically were a band until I was like 19 or 18, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. So you probably knew me within
you're probably
that
18-ish.
Yeah, somewhere in that.
I know you guys were super young.
Yes.
And incredibly talented.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and it, being that young and starting a band, I didn't realize this until now, honestly, because there are bands in the Houston scene that are high school aged. It's the same thing, right? And it's great musicians, incredibly talented. There's something about being in high school, that era of your life, where there's a social fabric you are just a part of. And so
when I was in bands in high school, talented is not a word people would have associated.
But that's you have a little social fabric, and no one wants to be at home.
Yeah.
So when you put on a show, people are excited. They're like, "Oh, there's a show. Well, Mom, I have to leave. I have to go to the show with my friend.
I'm going to leave the house. I'm going to do a cool thing."
Exactly. And so it
Be back never.
Yeah. Well, and as adults, it's the inverse. Everyone wants to stay inside. The best plans, as I say, are canceled plans. And that's how adults kind of run. They don't.
I do love to cancel a plan.
Oh, it's so nice. Imagine when you cancel a plan and then you just get to sit back and go, "Oh my God, I didn't have anything planned. Now I could just do whatever."
Right.
But that's what I've noticed with I think that in the Like Handshakes era of me playing music and stuff, it was really easy just to get a show together. You just whip it up in a second.
Well, and we had a little scene here in town that, we had a couple of spots that were pretty chill about that at the time.
Yeah, they would, the Copper Bean was one place in Hickory that you could organize a show, send out a Facebook message, and you could generate, I don't know, even 20 to 50 people.
Yeah.
But that was a good amount for a coffee shop.
We had about 20 people come out to the show tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but it's funny, another place, and I don't know if you were as tapped into this one, but because they didn't last the long run. They're called Jiving Java.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember that place at
all. It was my first job. I was an events coordinator, and they hired me because I just had friends that I could bring to the
What's
events.
on your resume? Friends.
I have friends. They just knew it because I was in band, and their kid was in band. So they asked me to do events. Put on
band, not a band.
Yeah, like tuba, trombone.
Sure.
Right? And so we started putting on shows there, and that was really the beginning because, I shit you not, when we put out our CD and we came back, we played Jiving Java. That was our album release show. And we sold out the CDs. We ordered 75. We sold 75 CDs. There was a line, and it was, but it's that social fabric of high school. It just is different than being an adult.
And so that record was put out by Grant McCracken at Bitter Melody.
Yes.
He actually was on an episode when we had Matt from Old Flings. Grant also came to hang.
Wait, Old Flings. Matt who?
Matt Evans.
I swear to freaking God, I know Old Flings.
Yeah, no, they were so good, and so they were. We had them on one of the first episodes, and Grant came and hung out. So we talked about Old Flings and about kind of how Bitter Melody started, and so it was cool that you were also part of that Bitter Melody family.
We got introduced to Grant, I think, from Andy Beck
right.
from Act Like Actors, and he was producing our record for free. He was just doing it in my basement.
It was super sweet of him.
Like, thank God he did it. But yeah, Grant was very sweet to press it, I look back on this because like now I'm 31 and I'm looking at like, someone who is helping out a kid to put out a record. Like all these people were very gracious, including you, to do shows with us and to just like help cultivate the scene with us.
Yeah.
It was a badass time frame.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And so that was all of that was in a band called Like Handshakes.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've rebranded and
Yep.
you're called Oh Hooray now.
Mm-hmm.
Which did it stem from Like Handshakes, or was it just like a totally separate thing?
It was, I'll be honest, like it was kind of to tell this story, there's a preamble. I recorded in college as well, and I was recording stuff that I was calling Like Handshakes, but it didn't have Robs and Riley in it, and they were the other two guys in the band. Mm-hmm. And it just felt weird. It just felt like not us. It just didn't feel like the thing. It didn't feel like the band.
Yeah.
And even if it's something that like you're just playing with your friends, your experience of that playing is what the band is to you. So for me, recording alone, and even though I like the songs I recorded, not having like Rob's bass line in there or Riley's drum part, it changes it and it feels solo. It just feels different.
Yeah.
And so
it was a collaborative effort.
Yeah. Yeah. We were recording, in people's basements. It just has its own vibe. And when I went to college, we were recording in the studio there, or we were recording on like shitty little 4-track recorders, what we had on hand. So when I got to my senior year of college and Like Handshakes had kind of run its course, I still had written a record. I've just always been writing.
Sure.
So I made it my senior project, and I called it Painted Giants. No one knows about this. This is a B-side. But that record is my least favorite thing I've ever done. It was just, it like has some good tracks that I'm very proud of. It was a student trying to produce the perfect record. And that's like a recipe for disaster.
And therefore it is entirely flawed.
It's entirely flawed because like you're trying to do everything by the book, the way you as a student understand the book.
Fuck the book.
And it just doesn't work, because at the end of the day, what matters is like, well, what is exciting? What is emotional? What affects me?
You got to have those imperfections to make it the perfect record, because otherwise if it's pristine, it's not good.
That's exactly it. So when I moved to Texas, let me rewind a little bit. When I was in Georgia teaching, I recorded a record in my apartment by myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to release it. I'm not going to do shit. I just want to like write something that feels honest, and I want to break new ground with like my songwriting. So I started doing that, and I wrote an entire record called You Are the Dust and I Miss You. And I never put it out. Still, it is not out. But that whole process, I felt more passionately about that music than anything on Anaheim, the record I did in college with Painted Giants. It just like, it had the thing. And a lot of that was me leaning back into Like Handshakes and how kind of like freely we were recording.
Sure.
And so what I did, once I moved to Houston, I started recording a new album and finished the whole thing, wrote all the songs, and then I started playing at open mics. I met some musicians, recruited them to play it, and eventually left teaching. And I was like, I want to like have a band. I want to write songs that are uncensored. I'm not trying to appeal to my professor. I was teaching at the time, not trying to appeal to students, not trying to censor for students. I just want to write my music. Yeah. And that's what Oh Hooray was. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of the continuation of what Like Handshakes was, but I never realized it was.
Like an evolution, basically.
It was, yeah, very much.
Yeah. It's like your second stage of your Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah, it was the Charmander.
Yeah.
The Charmeleon to my Charmander.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then who knows what my What is the last one?
I don't know. Charizard?
Charizard. Maybe I'm
That's
Charizard
one of
right
them.
now. I don't know.
Maybe you are. Maybe you are. I don't know. I
But that was like the, I don't know, the history of it. Oh Hooray, I should say this since we're official. We have a microphone. When I started Oh Hooray, we did one tune.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole thing was like, can you guys help me record a Tiny Desk submission? And that submission was for a song called Torment the Butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
It was a breakup song about loving yourself and loving the person, but like, hey, we're not fitting together. And that song was the only thing we knew. And in 2 weeks after we posted it for the NPR Tiny Desk contest.
Mm-hmm.
They picked it
wow.
for a blog about their favorite submissions that week.
Oh, that's really
and
cool.
They said, this is Oh Hooray from Houston, Texas. And they're like, Jamie McDonald wrote lyrics that were playful and evocative or emotional or whatever. I don't know.
Sure.
Jill
They
Burton
said some
wrote
nice
it.
things.
I'll never forget that. I'll never forget.
That's amazing.
Oh, it made me feel like, I mean, I've heard this saying a million times. I will say, verbatim, it made me feel like $1,000,000.
Hell yeah.
Sarah and I were together. I remember opening my email, and NPR had emailed us and said, hey, you're in this article. Check it out. And in a moment, in like one fucking moment, I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. It's
like you were completely validated.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
They like me.
They like me. And it's not all about validation, obviously, but
Oh, but it feels good.
But it feels amazing when someone recognizes what you're doing and you respect the person that's saying it and you go, holy shit, I should keep doing this. Yeah. So we kept going and the band continued to play. We learned all of this record I had recorded, added new parts, recorded those parts into the record, released it, and that's what Oh Hooray is currently, right? Cool. It was a one record, done a single since then, did a tour, a little DIY tour. I don't want the word tour is.
They're always DIY tours.
I was about to say. I mean, it's we weren't like opening for Green Day, but we were playing with.
That would be weird anyway.
That would be weird. Everyone there would be like, "Who the fuck?"
Right? What is this? What is this indie folk bullshit?
Yeah, exactly. And so, at this point, we're working on record 2, cool. And we've recorded pretty much the whole thing. It just hasn't been mixed yet.
And so the song you're talking about and playing for this podcast, is that on that second record or is it on that first record?
Yeah, it's the second song on the record.
On the second record?
On the second record. Second song, second record.
And what's it called?
It's called The Wasteland.
All right, so tell me about that.
The Wasteland was the first song I wrote for the new album. We don't know what the album's going to be called yet. We have a couple ideas. But that song pointed the entire album into the direction it's going. The first record by Oh Hooray was very much about loving yourself, finding your sense of place, having like self-respect to leave situations that don't respect you or the person you're with. Mm-hmm. In this instance, it was a relationship, but also it's teaching. I left teaching for the same reasons I left that relationship. Honestly, it was a self-respect thing and going towards my next thing.
Yeah.
This album.
I also bailed on teaching. I get it.
Oh, it was a very it's very simple to put it in a podcast, but it was a very emotional moment.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
It's been almost 2 years and I still struggle with it.
Yeah. And when we started looking at the next record, I had met Sarah. She's mentioned in this the first album. And so I was like, well, what am I going to write about?
You mentioned her name in this song.
Yeah, her name
once or twice, right?
It's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over the whole thing. I love her more than anything. And the album was about how do you maintain love for someone and be present with someone and take care of somebody when ultimately the world at every corner is trying to dehumanize and is trying to alienate you from maybe it's your labor, maybe it's yourself, maybe it's your family, but at some point you're facing some type of alienation. And when we go home and we post on the internet and we talk on the internet, we look on the internet, whatever, we are looking to express and to express our humanity. And that like juxtaposition of the world like trying to slam that down and us being encouraged to pour ourselves into exploring humanity was kind of where this whole thing started.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll say the name of the song originally was Me and My Love in the Wasteland. And it
Gotcha.
just turned into The Wasteland.
Sure. And so this song specifically is about that, or that's kind of the overarching theme of the whole next record?
It's both. You know, the song starts with consumerism at its peak, with things that we hold near and dear, right? Stuff in our heart versus stuff we can buy with our wallet. It starts with Christ. It says, Holy Plastic Tenenbaum, Christ was reborn in the shopping mall. And it's about Christmas ornaments coming out every year.
Sure.
But it evolves.
Which, as it is right now, this is a couple days after Christmas, so
Yeah.
Though by the time people are hearing this, it's well beyond that. But
It's April, but honestly, maybe they're getting the Christmas signs ready again.
right?
But that song, it goes from talking about the consumerism aspect, but then talking about being consumed. I love it when Sarah, this is going to sound so gross, but when Sarah consumes me as a product, like when we talk.
Like when she physically eats your flesh.
Yes, when she eats my flesh.
Yeah.
But, I love her, and like the way I understand love is it's all based on consumerism. So there's a line in there that says like, I love being consumed by you. And it talks about...
It sounds so much sweeter than when you explain it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the point is like, I want people to hear the album and feel a little conflicted about how we perceive love and how we perceive ourselves within this world. I want them to face that little bit of, not dissension, but conflict.
Sure.
And like, well, that was weird that he said, I love being consumed by you. That's strange. Because it is strange.
Sure.
I love that element of it because it reflects the world and how it's like impacted me, I guess.
Yeah. And so you just poured that into the entire song.
Yeah, I mean it's all over. I think the only other thing I would mention in that tune is the idea of like I want I think it's in the third verse or maybe the second verse. I just want someone to know me. I want to matter when I die. Those are just things I feel that I wanted to put in there. And that kind of, I think, gets to the core of what the record is about. I just want this to mean something while I'm here.
No, I like that. I mean, I think that's a pretty universal human feeling is I want this to have mattered.
Yeah.
I want to have mattered to somebody.
Yeah.
And then as a musician, you're putting that out in the world, and it's raw and visceral and vulnerable, and you want that to mean something to somebody.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, wait, real quick. Check and see if your top mic is giving you signal.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I'm still getting signal, and I'm hearing myself.
Oh, I see you. Okay, badass. I just want to make sure.
I'm hearing myself in my headphones.
From here, it's so small, I can't see it. But
that's what she said.
I mean, it is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Wasteland, I think that's the majority of what it's about. That was the starting point. And as the record has kind of been written and evolved, it's ended up mostly staying within that theme. I mean, there's other elements of like labor rights in the U.S. I was laid off. Good.
Good. Yeah.
I was laid off while we were writing it. We lost our home while I was writing this record
Oh shit.
to a fucking tornado in Houston. I don't know. We kind of went through. We were fucking homeless for a couple weeks.
Dude,
longer.
that's rough.
It was a lot, and like it for me, it only solidifies the point, which is like, who did I go through that with? It's Sarah. It's my partner.
Yeah.
We had to rely on each other through that. And that's what the album is about. The end of the record mentions, like, Sarah, I want to see the faces of our children. I want them to, sit in the shadow of a tree we planted. Something that maybe we weren't going to see the benefits of, but we fought the good fight to provide something.
Sure.
And to stave off some of the assholes in this world for making life shitty on them. I mean, the layoff,
Right.
that's it's a lot of us kind of persevering other people's bullshit.
Sure.
And the Mother Nature's bullshit. But I guess the record ends up just being about, it's kind of a love record, I guess, at the end of the day.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, that's true.
That's beautiful, man. Like it's incredibly poignant.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so.
We got deep.
Well, yeah. It always is that way.
Yeah.
We designate ourselves as a celebratory sad band. That's like the goal. Because I write very heavy songs.
You do indeed.
And I have heavy stuff to talk about now. Back in high school, I didn't.
But you have such a lighthearted name.
Well, yes. In Oh Hooray, like we want it to be kind of fucking fun.
Yeah.
You should hopefully jump and dance when you hear the songs.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, no, that's great. I can get behind all of that.
Dude, thank you. Any other questions?
Is there anything else you want to plug or talk about before we cut to the song?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, you know what? I'll plug this. First of all, listen to us, please.
No.
I beg you.
Absolutely not. I refuse.
I will never financially recover. No, there's a couple bands in Houston I want to turn you guys on to. There's a band called Astrolace, and they're fucking incredible. It's like minimalist pop, and minimalist is kind of the wrong word. Like, it feels maximum.
Sure.
It feels big, but it's, they're so goddamn selective about like the stuff they put in there, and it's good. It's just good. They make good choices, and it's good musicians. A lot of those band members used to play in the first iteration of Oh Hooray.
Oh.
3 of them out of the 4, right? But I'm friends with all of them, and they're just good people making good fucking music, and it's catchy as shit. You'll never go away not singing an Astrolace song.
I'll check them out for sure.
Yeah, and I'll plug a couple more. Here we go.
All right.
We got Marley Moon. Check her out. She's great. Kind of vintage sound. Great songwriter. Colorful sounds. We got Hate Mail. It's exactly what the name says. It's like hateful music towards your ex. If you've ever had an ex, listen to Hate Mail. And then I'll give one more. It's another band I'm a part of. It's called Spacey Lacey. I play bass in that group. And
You play Bassy and Spacey Lacey?
I play bass in the Spacey Lacey group. It's fucking really fun music. And if you listen to this record, look up Spacey Lacey. And if we don't have a song out, I'm sorry. We're trying. We're trying to get a song out, but they're dope. I live in Houston, and I love that music scene. So
very cool. I'm glad that you found a tight knit scene and are thriving.
Yeah, so. and likewise to the Dear Cavalier crew over here.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, the audience can't see it, but the studio is fucking cool.
Oh, thank you. And we haven't seen each other in what, like 10 years?
It's been
a long time.
It's been about 10. It's been 10 plus years because the last time we saw each other, I think, was at a show.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
That we played together.
And then you happened to be home for the holidays, and you messaged me about doing a super duper last minute show that came together in like 2 days. And
hey, we had like 25, 30 people show up.
Right? I'll take it.
That's not bad. Okay, full disclosure. I messaged Sean about a week out from the show.
Yeah.
And I said, like, let's fucking do a show. Let's do something.
Me being Sean.
Yes.
Yes.
And then, some days went by and I still hadn't like confirmed with the venue. We got a message back, but we had to we had to do a call and I missed his call and yada yada. But then eventually we got on the call, we confirmed the fucking show, and I messaged Sean and he said, "Oh God, I forgot about the show." But cool. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm still in.
Yeah. I got a flyer on Christmas afternoon. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot we had this conversation.
The show is 3 days out, and that's when we got the flyer.
Right.
So it was, but it was a magical night, and I think I'll say this: if you're in April when you hear this, or any time around there, look out because we're doing this show next year as well.
Yeah. And we had our mutual friend Sarah from a band called Come In Travis.
Yes, Come In Travis.
And,
Sarah, who is going by Sarah Lauren, I was in band with her.
Cool.
Way back in the day in high school, and she is incredibly talented.
Yeah. Indeed.
Always was.
It was a really cool show that we put together very last minute, and some people came.
Yeah, some people came. We made a little bit of money. That's dope.
Yeah.
And
I played solo I haven't done that in a while.
when was the last time you did solo?
I think I played one other solo show this year.
Yeah.
Like I did a house show, but for the most part I don't anymore.
You know,
It's not as fun,
Yeah.
but I got to pull out some different tunes that that we haven't learned as a band. So
doing solo it's highly dependent on the crowd. And I feel like playing full band is highly dependent on the venue.
I mean, when I started and I was like, hey, I'm Sean, I play in this band. It's normally like loud and energetic, but tonight it's different vibes. I'm just going to pull out all the sad songs. And someone yelled, "No sad songs," and I should have just stopped there because
That's such a weird thing to say.
I did not have any not sad songs. In fact, in general, like our loud songs are still sad. They're just loud.
You just might not hear the words,
Right.
but trust me,
They're all sad because I'm a sad emo boy. I'm gonna maybe cut this out of the interview.
I fucking am for life. What's your favorite band? I don't know this about you.
Right now, it's not right now. In general, Thursday.
I don't even know who that is. What Thursday? Who's Thursday?
Oh, they're incredible. They're this like kind of mostly post-hardcore band from New Jersey, but they're fucking insane.
What the fuck?
They're like incredibly talented band. I've seen them so many times, and every time has been incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, I need to look them up. I think for me, I'm all over the place. I think my favorite group. This is gonna sound so weird because this is not at all what my band plays. I love JPEG Mafia.
All right, that is totally not what you sound like at all. Not even a little.
I love him.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck about any convention, and I feel like he is creating like truly new sounds.
Yeah,
I never heard before.
that's cool.
And like that takes a different level of commitment and just, I don't know, just takes a different type of human.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, do something brand new.
Yeah, cool.
Sick, dude.
Yeah,
thanks
man.
for having me,
Dude, thanks for throwing this show together. Thanks for having me on it. Thanks for coming to hang out after and doing this podcast before you ship off back to Texas. I figured we had one shot at this, so it was cool.
Yeah, we just came off the show, by the way.
Yeah, we just finished the show. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've got a good take of the Wasteland for y'all.
Yeah.
Unless you might want to cut that. I don't know if they think that I'm about to play it in the editing, but
Yeah, you are about to play it 30 minutes ago.
well, listen, y'all. I'm gonna go over to the old guitar. I'm gonna play the Wasteland.
Yep, we totally didn't record it separately already.
And listen, I don't know what's gonna happen. I haven't played it already.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
playing.
Yeah, right on, man. Cool. Here's Oh Hooray performing The Wasteland.
Christ returned in this shopping mall. I need to feel it all. A scab I'm always picking off. In my bio has a lounge suit. I breathe your sweaty perfume. Your legs are stiletto kudzu. I love being consumed by you, Sarah. No, we're getting sick. My nostrils feel thick with it. Life is pornographic fanfics. Life is snuff films and biopics. Who cares if it's killing us? Sarah, tell me what don't I'm praying that I mean it. In an XL rideshare transit to the graveyard. Graveyard shifts. In the wasteland. Oh, oh, but I just want someone to know me. I want to matter when I'm leaving. I want to be in love and know that. I want to stay inside our moments, but my bootstraps melt into the pavement. I built our house, still can't afford it. Life's forever in a mosh pit, or life is stillborn in a blanket. Can you tell me what I was after, Sarah? I prayed that it was smaller. I'll try to tell you if I remember. It don't take long to feel wind here, or to feel my place in line. For the easiest ways to die. In the wasteland. Sirens go. Sirens go.
Something I've learned in my fashionista era is that when you are young and you wear old people clothes from like Goodwill or anything like that, any thrifting excursion, people think you're cool and you're stylish and you're so off the beaten path. How neat. And then as soon as you're old and you're wearing young people clothes, they're like, oh my gosh, who's this washed up grandpa? He should go ahead and crawl into that grave.
Oh, that's
And too dark.
it's very poignant.
Was that okay?
Yeah, that was.
I pontificated a little bit.
No, that was good.